Hey everybody, Dave again, welcome back to the channel. Today I've recruited some help by way of my mate Kane. We're going to do the clutch on Rachel's Hyundai Getz. I've never done a clutch before, never mind a transverse mounted one, so let's see how it goes. Okay, so in order to do this job we're going to need a clutch kit. This clutch is embarrassingly small, but it comes with a pressure plate, clutch and the release bearing. We're going to need a couple of cans of working clutch cleaner and some gearbox oil. Okay, so to get access to it, we've removed the airbox. We're going to remove this pipe in a minute. Battery's coming out, battery tray's coming out, and that'll give us access to the top of the gearbox. Honestly, this little plastic tag's becoming a bit of a pain. There we go, it's out. Okay, next thing to go is the airbox. So 10mm, 2 bolts. Okay, so what we've done, there was 2 plates here, just covering access. They are now on the shelf over there. We've got rid of those. We've unplugged the electrical connector from the gearbox, and we've just stuffed the wiring loom out the way for now, just to give us a bit of access to the slave cylinder. That's held on with 2 bolts and just a split pin just at the other end, just under the hose that you can't see. So yeah, let's get the move on and we'll take this gearbox out. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to remove those 2 bolts. We're going to remove that split pin there. We're going to remove that split pin just there. And then we're going to put a sling around the gearbox so that we can hold it with the engine hoist. And some bolts, one just there in the middle of the screen underneath the wiring harness. We're going to remove those, that's the bell housing from the engine. So what we can do then is lower the gearbox down, change the oil. And while the gearbox is on the deck, change the clutch and then jack the gearbox back up, and reinstallation is the reverse. Okay, so we're having a bit of trouble trying to get some visual access down to one of the clips. So we broke out the old boroscope. Can't quite decide how one of the clips comes off the gear selector, so we're just having a quick look. There we go, so that's the clip that was giving us some problems. That took a little bit of time to get out, but a little bit of penetrating fluid and some elbow grease and that came out. No, it's playing the game. Playing the game, Dave. Playing the game. It's going. It's spinning. I don't know if it's going. That's just spinning. That's just spinning. It's not going. Okay, so what we're doing now, we're undoing the two nuts to hold the slave cylinder on. Okay, so now that we're underneath from the passenger wheel well, there's that nut there, that relieves the air pressure. And that big boy just there, that's the one they actually drain from. So we're going to open both of those and drain the oil. There's an awful lot of bronze particles in there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect these 3 bolts here, and we're going to remove that lower wishbone so we can get the drive axe, so then we can get the actual drive shaft out. Gasket nice, that's all I'm doing. But it's not playing. So we're going to cook it. Try again. Okay, so we're having some issues trying to get this drive shaft out. We've tried pry bars, all sorts of stuff. We've got one more thing in mind. So it turns out nothing worked. So instead of taking out that end, we're going to take it out this end first and give that a go. See if that can help us get that end out. Okay, so what we're doing here now is we've got the crane and a strap, and we're supporting the weight of the gearbox while Kane undoes the actual retaining nuts that hold it onto the engine. One of them is one of the back here. It's a 12 nut and it's very fiddly, so just be warned with that one.
Yeah, it's out. It's just not coming out tight. It's all the way down there.
Now, in order to try and access that, we've got a breaker bar, 3 great big extensions, and it goes from out here all the way through that gap there, underneath the engine, to try and get to that bolt. That's one of the last bolts that holds the gearbox on.
Right. That's that out.
Okay, so that should be the final bracket out now. Let's see if we can move this gearbox. Okay, we're just trying to pry the gearbox away from the engine now. Okay, so we're in a position now where we've got a gap between the actual engine and the gearbox. It's not quite wanting to wiggle its way out. So what we're going to do is going to adjust the jack that's all supporting the engine and the engine hoist that's supporting the gearbox, see if we can wiggle them out. Nothing left.
Yeah, that'll do there, Dave. Hold it there. It's not so much nothing left, Dave. I've never seen a clutch do this.
What's it done?
It's lost flights from the bearing.
Okay, so that's the old clutch and pressure plate out. You can see where the clutch has been getting hot, where it's started to blue a little bit. Also, you've noticed there's a couple of arms missing, and there's one of them. That might be the problem. But as we look at the actual clutch plate itself, we can see it's almost down to the rivets. It's not 100% worn, but it's definitely up there. So yeah, let's get the new ones in. So there's the new pressure plate and the clutch. It's just going in now. Okay, so here we have the old and the new bearing. As you can see, the old one, it's a Valeo bearing. It's not actually in horrendous condition. It still rotates freely, it doesn't make any noise or anything like that. But while we've got the gearbox off, it just makes sense to pop a brand new bearing in. So let's get on with that bit. Okay, so as you can see here on the release arm, we've actually marked the casing, the arm, and everything up there, just to make sure that the casing and the arm go back in the right orientation, so that that gives us a correct open, if that makes sense. Okay, so we've now got the release bearing in the gearbox, we've got the clutch and the pressure plate installed, all torqued up and all that sort of good stuff. Now we just need to lift the gearbox back on, bolt it on, fill it full of oil. Okay, after much arguing and persuading with hammers and such, we've got the gearbox roughly on. We've got a bolt there, bolt at the top here somewhere, a couple of bolts, and it has been quite the fight, but we have been victorious. There. Back into there. Right, so as you can see, the last few bits and pieces are going back together now. We're almost done. It did start to rain, so we've had to bring the old shelter across to keep us dry, but yeah, it's coming together now. We'll show you how it runs in a minute. Well, that was horrific. I did not enjoy that. I have never done a clutch before. I will probably never do a clutch again. That was awful. I did not. A 4-hour job turned into an 8-hour job. So, yeah, no, I'm alright, thanks. But hey, never mind, these things happen. That said though, if you did like it, you know the drill. Like the video, share the video, comment, all that sort of good stuff. And I'll see you in the next one.